Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Sharks news and rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Alex Hutton. Alex, how's it going? We've got, the Sharks coming off another win, another dominant performance by Macklin Celebrini, hat trick, the only goals in the game. And he's up to 30 points now, which, still on pace for some pretty good numbers. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm glad that that game happened last night. It means there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. So looking forward to getting into it.
For sure. Yeah, there's going to be, positivity. They did lose. They got shut out there, but then bounced back and had a really good, Celebrini's led the way all season. So it's no really any surprise that he's doing it again. But I want to start off with, we've talked about the veteran guys, and mixed with the youth and guys playing more and whatever stuff like that. Klingberg was scratched, and he's not used to that. I know he came out and he was saying he's not really used to being a healthy scratch, but was it the right move for him? Because he has struggled a bit this season. Still coming off the last season, he was kind of up and down, coming in, and he was pretty regular in the lineup. But what do you think about his performance, and was it the right move to healthy scratch him there?
I think it was. I think just for a couple of reasons. Yes, he's struggled this season, but I think it does a couple of things. Number one, it just shows how many defensemen the Sharks have and how they're just trying to kind of mix and match guys and figure that out. The defense is something of a hodgepodge trying to fit a bunch of puzzle pieces together. And we're like a quarter of the way into the season or so, and that's you'd hope that comes together a little bit, but with their defense as sort of makeshift as it is, it's always been a tough challenge for them to try to figure out. And then I think it just shows, and then we've talked about it on one of the previous videos, was that the coaching staff and Ryan Warsofsky, they've often been they've, for young players, like I don't know if punish is the right word, but when young players make mistakes, they're more likely to miss a few shifts or get scratched for a game for a development day or something like that. But the veterans, they've had plenty of veterans who have made big mistakes and not necessarily seen those same sort of adjustments to their amount of minutes or amount of games played. So I think to do this is a good step in the direction of showing the message of like, hey, everybody's going to be held accountable here, no matter how many years of NHL experience you have under your belt. Like, you've got to do your job and play your role. And if not, we're going to put someone else in your spot and see how that works. So I think for that combination of reasons, I do think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, we'll see how he does when he does get back in the lineup, because, he will. Sometimes these guys, they do respond well for being sitting out because they're not used to it. And it's like, well, I don't want it to happen again. So then, they bounce back and play better. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, there's a lot of defensemen, a lot of young guys that have come in and out of the lineup. And then also, Liljegren was scratched as well in that game. So that's two veteran defensemen, and you're putting in a couple young guys in. They're going to have to do it because these are the guys that are going to be the future of the blue line too. So we'll see how he does when he comes back in. Speaking of veteran defensemen, there's been kind of, the talk that, of course, the Sharks might be moving some guys, depending on where they are, of course, by the trade deadline. Right now, they are in the playoff conversation. They're not firmly in it, but 9-8-3 so far this season. There could be a chance that they might be trading some guys. You mentioned the logjam on defense. Do you see some of these veterans, maybe Klingberg, maybe Liljegren? They've got some veterans that they could potentially move. Do you see that happening, even if they are in a playoff race?
I could definitely see it happening for sure, and I think one of the main reasons to do that would be to clear up space for Michael Misa. They're going to need to move a contract if they want to bring him on full time this year and get him past that 9-game threshold. They do need to move someone, and I think it's more likely, and probably because of that logjam, it's probably easier to move a defenseman than it would be to move another forward. So I think that the front office would probably focus on that if they do get to that point. Obviously, with Misa injured right now, there's more time to figure that out, and we probably won't be dealing with that for a little while. But I could definitely see that happening, especially as we get closer to the trade deadline. A lot of what the Sharks have done these last couple seasons is use the post deadline time as an opportunity to bring up some guys from the AHL, give them a chance, give more time to the young players. And I think the way you do that is by moving out. They got a lot of veteran guys on 1-year deals or in the last year of their deal. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But at the same time, they have to offer something worth taking for another team. So who specifically that player is going to be, I think, is going to still take a little bit more time to develop and figure out. You mentioned Liljegren, you mentioned Klingberg, Mario Ferraro, who's been a part of the Sharks for a long time. He's in the last year of his deal, so we'll see what happens there. So they have a few different options in that case.
And they all could pose some value for playoff teams, or of course, they would help the Sharks too if they're in the playoff mix. But yeah, the youth have kind of performed all season so far. So it's like you want to have giving them that bigger roles as well, like Sam Dickinson, Malcolm Medulin. Both of these guys have looked pretty good so far. So there's going to be a point where you're going to have to move the veterans out so that they can have the full-time role and not be taken in and out of the lineup as well. All right. Well, moving to Michael Misa. He's hurt right now. Unfortunately, there's no firm date on when he's going to be returning. He's not close. The latest report being, and of course, Jeff Skinner is also hurt, and he had a decent start of the season. He only has 4 goals, but looked pretty good. Like you mentioned him on a previous video too. One question that's kind of going around is that this could affect Misa making the World Junior team. The first question is, if he is healthy, should they send him to the World Juniors? Because he's been in the NHL here. It's not like a regular veteran team. It's like, well, they're playing so well, you don't want to lose them for a month or whatever. But you see that as potentially being something, sending him to the World Juniors.
I do think it's an option. Yeah, just to if he is healthy by that time, just a way to kind of just get him back up to speed, and he can play against the junior competition that he's more used to, rather than immediately jumping back into the NHL. I think they have a couple different options there. There's the if he does come back, the AHL conditioning stint opens up. So I think that they have another option there as well. But I do think that they're in a position with the fact they're playing decently well, and the fact that he's not at the 9-game mark yet, and so they have time and they have options to figure out what to do, and they can ease him back in, take their time with his development, and not have to. Now they certainly don't. I don't think feel like they need to rush anything with him in this particular situation.
For sure. And also it's. The World Juniors. They want to have camps are going to open up soon as well. So there's some time. It's not like he's out for a month or whatever. I think it's just a couple weeks or something like that. That's what is initial reporting here. So we'll see. That decision is going to have to be made pretty soon, though. If they are going to send him to Team Canada, which they would love him, of course, on the team, because he'd be one of their best players. All right, well, let's. I like doing these quarter season awards, so we'll do these quickly for the Sharks. And we are officially at the quarter season mark, 20 games in, and this was probably an obvious one, but we'll start with the MVP. Who's the MVP right now? It's probably. I'll let you go because I'm pretty sure I know who's it going to be.
Come on. It's Macklin celebrating. Just the stuff he's been doing this season is pretty incredible. Last night he became the 4th teenager ever to get 30 points in the first 20 games of a season, and the other 3 to do it are all-time greats. Like it's just pretty remarkable what he's able to do, and like we've talked about it so much, but last night was a game where yes, Askarov was really, really good in net. But that what he did last night was about as close as you can come to winning a hockey game single-handedly.
Yeah.
Scoring all 3 goals in a 3-2 overtime win. Like it's hard for anybody to pull that off, and to be doing stuff like that at 19 is just really remarkable to watch.
Yeah. It's great because Connor Bedard goes and has a hat trick too, which these two guys are going to be like, it's like the new Ovechkin Crosby type. I think. These two guys going to be leaders in the NHL for a long time.
100%. Yeah, it's very much the way I'm describing it is it's the future is now kind of moment for having these two sort of having their breakout this season. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't look like either of them are slowing down at all. All right, this is a repeat probably. Who's a top forward? I mean, it's probably Celebrini.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but like going into the forward aspect of it specifically, it's his ability to not only play this well at such a young age, but to elevate other players at such a young age. The way his line mates can benefit from his passing or his shooting ability. I mean, it's paying huge dividends for multiple of his teammates, and that's something you hope continues, for the rest of the season and for years to come. And hopefully, it's a draw to attract free agents to get to play alongside someone like him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's going to be a point where you're going to have guys wanting to come to the team to play with them. I mean, already it's happened. Tyler Toffoli, I mean, he's like, I'll play with Celebrini. That's something he mentioned when he signed too. So, it's already happening. It's just going to get better if he keeps on this trajectory for sure. Right, this one probably not an obvious one because there's quite a few defensemen. Who do you see as the top defenseman right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of go a little bit outside the box with the answer. I'm gonna say Shakir Mukhamadullin, not because he's necessarily been their best defenseman during the season, but just I think the progress he's shown and the development he's shown and the way he's evolved into a legit NHL contributor is the thing right now that is giving Sharks fans the most hope for the future of the defense. So obviously, we've already talked about in this video. It's a work in progress. It's patchwork. It's not a great unit overall. You've seen a lot of times this season where they've gotten stuck in their own zone and can't get it out. But I think Mukhamadullin has really grown a lot as a player, and it gives more hope for their ability to identify and develop defensemen and hopefully build up a decor, whether that's through trades, the draft, free agency, whatever it is. That there's something there that they can build on and go off on and turn into a capable unit that can kind of round out this team. They've obviously got a couple of top forwards. They seem to have the goaltender in Yaroslav Askarov, and now the defense has to come along for the ride. And I think right now Mukhamadullin is providing the best evidence that it can get there.
Yeah, I see that too. I mean, he's really developed over the last few seasons that he's, he hasn't been a full-time NHLer very long, but you see the development. For sure. And you hope that he can become that top pairing guy. And Sam Dickinson, of course, will be in that mix as well. You've got some building blocks and it's starting to kind of look at it. But it's still very much a work in progress for sure. All right. Last one, best newcomer. There's a few guys that they signed in free agency. Of course, got some other guys in the offseason as well. Who do you see as the best newcomer right now?
I would say probably Philip Kurashev. He's got the most points out of any of the new players. So I mean, there's that, and I think he's someone who's we've talked. I think we've talked about this on previous videos as well, and I've written about this. But he's showing that sometimes if you're struggling in one place, a change of scenery is the best thing possible. And the Sharks have done that for a few different players, and he's the latest example as someone who hasn't quite produced as much over the last few games, but early going this season has been really good, been constantly around the net, involved in plays, and has sort of found a little bit of a jump start or a restart to his career. And the Sharks have been signing a lot of these short-term reclamation kind of deal type players, and eventually you would hope that some of them will do enough where rather than turning into a trade piece, they turn into like an actual guy who they keep around for a few more seasons. Maybe he's one of them. I think it's too early to say, but I think he's just another example of someone who comes in and buys in right away and gets involved right away, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at like we mentioned with Toffoli signing a bigger deal when he signed, which I mean, you'd hope that he, you get some veteran guys to be part of that core because it can't be all young guys. It just doesn't work. You need some of that veteran experience to kind of balance it out. And you'd hope to find some of those guys. And Kurashev could be, you say one of them eventually too. All right, let's finish with, the next time we get to another awards will be mid-season. And so that'll be the next 20. What do you need to see from the Sharks? They're not a perfect team, obviously. No team really is this season. I mean, even the Colorado Avalanche, they've got some weaknesses. What do the Sharks need to work on over the next 20 to kind of, fix some of the things that they're kind of dealing with so far.
I mean, obviously, we've talked about the defense. I don't know if that's something that could be solved in the next 20 games. That's obviously, I think, a longer term project. But you'd like to see them allowing less goals, just being a little bit crisper on zone exits, and not like we talked about getting stuck for so long. The power play, for something that can actually be solved, like it might actually get solved in the next 20 games, I would say the power play is the big thing. It's just been a little bit disjointed recently. I think we're going to be seeing some experimentation with those units, moving players around from like the first unit to the second unit, or vice versa. Maybe getting some new guys in there, just trying to figure out what's going to work there, because that's been a little bit all over the place, in the last stretch of games. So, and if they can come along with that, that'll obviously help them out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, celebrating on the Euro's a chance that they could get better for sure. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next 20. We get to the mid-season, and the playoff picture gets to be pretty close to what we'll see. Where we'll see where the Sharks are. Like I say, one game above 500. I believe last season they were quite a bit below 500, so they're already doing much better.
I mean, I think the last time they were above 500 this far into a season was like 3 or 4 seasons ago. So it's I mean, everyone talks about the American Thanksgiving being the sort of the check-in point, and they're a lot better at that point. We're almost there, and they're a lot better at that point than they've been recently. So it's still certainly things to work on, and you kind of have to wonder if maybe what Celebrini is doing is papering over some of the flaws a little bit, but you'll definitely take this over what it's been the last few seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that Celebrity's just, like you say, he single-handedly won a game for them, and he's done that all season. So, I mean, but you need your best players, and sometimes they steal you a game, and that's what you want too. So, we'll see what happens in the next bunch of games over the next week until we get together again. But thanks, Alex, for coming on, as always, talking about the Sharks. Make sure to check out everything at thehockeybears.com on all of our Sharks coverage and all the other videos we've got on the YouTube channel and our Substack newsletter as well. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. But until our next video, we will see you next time.